Last night I had a dream. I was back in Malaysia. I remembered the beaches. I remembered some of the food I had with my uncles and aunts and my cousins. And it was a bittersweet dream because it's been a while since I've been in Malaysia. I lived there more than 20 years ago. I live in Canada now. I wanted to speak a little bit about some of the adjustments immigrants have to make in a new country, the dual lives that we live. On one hand, we learn new traditions, we learn new ways. I celebrated Thanksgiving with a bunch of friends, and I explained to my boyfriend Mark about some of the Thanksgiving traditions. I realized how Canadianized I have become. But at the same time, there are times when I remember my childhood going in the Harvest Moon Festival with the beautiful lights and lanterns that were sometimes self-made in the nighttime, celebrating feasts with family. And all of us come from many different roots. We have many experiences that are brought together that make us who we are. When we have to leave a country, leave behind, there are a lot of adjustments that are made. And I find that immigrants to a new country will take time to readjust to their new culture. On my hand, I have a bit of an advantage over some other immigrants in that I speak English and have spoken English since I was a kid. And also, I went to McGill University, so I have some advantages that I have local education and I speak fluent English. When I graduated from McGill, one of my first jobs as a project engineer was to work at a plastics factory called Qualidux. And I remember it was an interesting experience that I was managing 20 plus people, and I was freshly out of university. Most of these were immigrants, Asian immigrants, who were working for minimum wage. Some of them had their MBAs, and they were simply taking plastics manufactured goods out of a machine and putting them into a box, and that was their job. Some of them had run successful businesses in Taiwan and other countries, and here I was at the top of the food chain in this company, telling them what to do or how to do it. It didn't feel quite right to me. And I wanted to speak on that just to show some of the struggles that Asians have to overcome in Canada. And they have overcome it. Their strategy was to, instead of continuously work at minimum wage, taking plastics goods out of a machine, many of them decided to run their own businesses, and successfully so, and create communities that would support each other rather than be paid at a really low wage forever and never be allowed to rise above and use their education and skills. And this is to address some of the concerns I've heard from many Canadians or other English-speaking countries, immigrants from English-speaking countries. They mention Asians don't know how to assimilate into the Canadian culture. Well, my point of view is that they have, in their way, that allowed them to treat themselves with dignity and respect, and that is the point of this video today.